At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
The future. That's where our minds are at Western Illinois University Quad Cities. We are innovators, searching for something new outside of the textbooks. Dog-loving, leadership-driven, world-changing. Whether you choose to study on campus or online, your future is designed on your terms. Start your future at wiu.edu/QC.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 35 years.
The need for food and the outpouring of help, plus celebrating the dead in the cities. Last October, the U.S. Census Bureau said 12% of the adult population lived in a home where there was not enough food to eat in the last week. In Illinois, that's 1 million adults and 300,000 children. As the Student Hunger Drive kicks off in the cities, we look at the growing food insecurity being seen in our communities and the effort to bridge that gap for families. I talked with Jenny Colvin, the Vice President of the Riverbend Food Bank. This is the 38th year for the Student Hunger Drive, 1986, and what a huge impact it's had on the community.
It really has. It's our largest annual fundraiser. It's a really great opportunity to get the kids in our community involved and engaged at a philanthropic level.
Well, and you know, these schools, they have, the kids have so much energy, so much enthusiasm, and so much creativity as well in ways to try to collect food.
Yes, it's really fun. You know, we just had our kickoff on Monday, and we invite all the schools to the food bank to come, and they're all offered to do a skit competition, and we have a panel of judges that, you know, it's based on a criteria about food insecurity, about like what they're learning about with this work with the food bank, and then it's just great to see their creativity come out.
Well, the winners get a little edge there
Yes.
in the food donations.
Yeah, Hy-Vee is one of our sponsors, and so the winner of the skit competition gets a 2,000-pound food advantage that Hy-Vee donates. So Moline won this year, which is really, really exciting. They did a great job. They all did a great job.
Well, and this has always been a high school base event.
Yep.
But you've really tried to make it more of other schools that filter into the high schools.
Yeah, so some of our districts do a really great job incorporating the elementary schools, the middle schools. This year, we're excited to share some new resources to help further on that engagement. Rachel Gruey, our project coordinator for this, designed some coloring or activity books, one for the elementary kids and then one for the middle schoolers. And it's just great things, illustrations to talk about how the food comes to the plates of the people experiencing hunger in our community that need it.
Well, and let's talk about the need, because last year 818,000 meals were provided by the Student Hunger Drive. That was the equivalent of 818,000.
Yes.
That is a lot.
It's huge.
But you've got a huge goal this year. You want to really top 1 million.
Yeah, we have over 126,000 food insecure people in our service area in our 23 counties. 38,000 of them are children. So that translates to 1 in 8 adults and 1 in 6 children. So as the holidays are approaching, the need is going to stay consistent. It's elevated and it's going to stay consistent. And so a campaign like this to kick off the fall, getting the kids involved is just perfect timing to continue to help people in need.
Well, and we've seen the need for food really spike during the pandemic. I mean, those are such tough times.
Yeah.
And you said that the need has gone down, but now it's stabilized higher than pre-pandemic levels?
Yeah, we had a good peak. What was interesting about the pandemic was, for the first time ever, hunger became a middle class problem. Yeah. So many people who never needed help before now needed help. So our job as a food bank was to make sure people understood that we were a resource in the community. You don't need a certain income, there's no criteria other than if you say you need help, we're here to help you.
And the numbers really haven't changed that much year to year to year. Like you said, I've heard anywhere from 1 in 8 to 1 in 6
Yep.
kids, which is really frightening and scary. But those numbers really aren't changing.
Yeah, we are implementing a new 3-year strategic plan with a goal of how do we distribute food equitably across our 23 county service area. We've got a large service area, and still there's food deserts. Food insecurity really affects our rural areas even more than our urban areas. So we need to start thinking differently about how we are distributing food, working with our 400 plus hunger relief partners. How do we do that so that these food deserts, these people that are not getting access to food for many reasons, we need to figure out how to do that, and now is the time to do that.
And I want to talk about those food deserts for a moment, because whenever you think of a food desert, you always think of a metropolitan area and that there's neighborhoods that go without. But let's start with the rural areas, which is sad because these are the people that are growing our food in so many different ways, but it's so difficult in some of these very small communities in order to get enough food to eat. How much of a concern is it to reach the rural residents in this area?
It's a huge concern. Like I said, lack of access, lack of employment opportunities, understanding the economic growth in our communities. If that's not happening, then there's not jobs for people to be able to make money and support their family. For us to get into those communities, to partner with communities that are able to help, that's where the really hard work comes in, but that's where the really important work comes in.
Do you have enough staff? I mean, are you able to actually do that? Because we'll get to the urban area again, but I mean, it's so widespread as far as geographically speaking.
Yeah. Again, that's where our relationships with our community partners really comes into play. So yes, we've got a staff that, we've got the staff to do it. It's about shifting our priorities to make sure that we're again, distributing food equitably across our whole service area.
And when we talk about the urban areas, of course, I mean, we're often talking about nonprofits as well as churches, groups of that sort. Is the metropolitan area really covered well? That where there's no grocery store available, that there is some type of a food pantry that is available?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it depends on what area we're talking about, but yeah, it's well supported. So then again, it becomes a conversation about how do we strategically, again, make sure where I was just talking about food deserts, we're making sure that we're not, oversaturating an area where it's distributed proportionately so that people's needs are being met. And that we're just doing that in the smartest way possible.
Let's talk again about the Student Hunger Drive. It's come back around. We're talking about an event that really lasts, I want to say 6 weeks?
Yep,
6 weeks into November.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about how the schools are able to collect during that period of time.
Yeah, this is the fun part. The schools get really creative. It's cool that we are doing it over the Halloween holiday because a lot of school districts will go out and they'll trick or treat for cans, or they'll fill the principal's office, or they'll do their own little fundraisers within their classrooms. I mean, they get so creative in the different ways that they support. You may see them in front of storefronts, collecting cans, collecting donations. Funds and food are both ways to support. It all gets equated into pounds, and then the schools, it's a friendly competition to who can raise the most pounds of food.
And like you said, a lot of creativity is involved, and I keep thinking that we're into, I want to say the 38th year once again. Have you seen it diminish at all? I know that the kids change. I think that's probably the good part. But I just wonder if the commitment is the same as it was years ago.
I would say it's stronger. I think the more, every year that goes by, more and more people are understanding, like I said before, hunger is a middle class problem. People are understanding the need. The more we talk about it, the more the kiddos, it resonates. And as long as we keep it as high of a commitment as we do, it'll continue to keep growing. We've had record-breaking years for the Student Hunger Drive for the past 3 years now, which is awesome. And that's why we set such a bold goal this year, because the need is great and we really need that help.
Why do you think that you've set records for each of the 3 years? I mean, it's tough to...
It is.
Because the kids have, collected an awful lot in the past.
Yeah.
You'd think it's hard for them to do even more.
I don't know. I think probably a large part of it is because of that virtual component. This is the 3rd year that we've added that virtual.
You knew where I was going next.
I knew you were going. The virtual, the online giving page. Our kids are so tech savvy. They know how to implement that in a great way. And so I really think that number has grown every single year. So it's really just, part of our job as an organization is to educate people that, Yes, we'll collect those food donations. We don't want that food that's in your cupboards and your kitchens to go to waste. Don't throw it in the garbage. Donate it to the food bank. But also understanding and educating that every dollar provides 5 meals for people experiencing hunger. As a 501c3, we have a unique buying power that if you or I went to the grocery store to spend $10, we could probably buy maybe a box of cereal, maybe a gallon of milk, maybe a jar of peanut butter. We can buy all those same products for pennies on the dollar. So that's why it's so important to give to Riverbend and support, because it supports us and it supports our community partners.
And one last thing is that you're going to be celebrating the Student Hunger Drive in basically a brand new building, or at least an expanded building.
Expanded, yep.
How is that going to help the food bank able to help food pantries throughout the area?
Yeah, the expansion, so we're at the same facility. We expanded about 10,000 square feet on our warehouse and then expanded out with our office space as well. But what's really important is that our volunteer space in our warehouse, this is a community food bank, so volunteers can come, they can sort the food, they can understand how our operation works, but it also creates a ton of food safety efficiencies, where before we didn't have that. We have hundreds of partners that come and pick up food. These are pantries, soup kitchens in our community. They're volunteers in the community that are coming and picking up this food to put on their shelves. Before, we did not really have a great space for them to do that, a safe space for them to do that. Some of the efficiencies that have been created allows them to have better access to the food, can order better, and protects them from inclement weather especially.
And once again, the Student Hunger Drive runs until, I want to say, November 7th?
Correct, yep.
Important to give.
It's important to give. On our website, every school has their own page. So if you are an alumni of a certain school,
yes.
if you are supporting a student, you can go in, and every school has a unique or an individual goal. Go support your school, help those kiddos out.
Yeah. It's not just the kids in the school, it's alumni as well, you're saying.
Exactly. Anybody can support. The goal of the Student Hunger Drive, like I said, is to teach kids the importance of supporting local community, supporting nonprofits, but really another goal is once they've graduated and moved on, understanding that the impact that they make, even if it's a small impact, is a huge impact, and we would love that they can continue that philanthropic spirit as they turn into adults and become even better members of our society.
Our thanks to Jenny Colvin of the Riverbend Food Bank. And once again, the Student Hunger Drive continues until November 7th. That's the big drop-off day at the Riverbend Food Bank. Quad City musician Angela Meyer was named Midwest Country Music Organization's Win New Artist of the Year. Angela also performed for us as part of our Chords and Coffee series. So here's Angela Meyer with Muddy Water.
The first song I played today was Muddy Water, and it was kind of me exploring this idea of being a dreamer in a small town and whether you're choosing to leave or you're choosing to stay and make your career in that area. So obviously about myself staying in the Quad Cities, usually people will be like, are you moving to Nashville? Are you moving to New York, LA, all these music hubs, Texas, and kind of why I choose to stay here. And then some of the other people that I've seen who have stayed out of fear. So Muddy Water kind of explores those themes.
I said I'm drowning. I said then stand. I said I'm out of here. And I said when, like a buckle on a bedpost, you're just hanging around, and ain't a damn prize left to be won in this town, and it feels deep when the roads get tangled and you can't sleep, trying to keep a dream alive. Look around and what's pulling you under will bury you alive. Muddy the water to make it feel deep. Muddy the water.
For me, music is my literal entire life. I grew up with a mom that was in a cover band, and so some of my earliest memories are at 3 years old dancing around at the Iowa State Fair and the smoke and lights and secondhand smoke, all of it. Her parents were very big into country music. My grandma played steel guitar. My grandpa played guitar and saxophone. I think they both did their fair share of singing and probably writing as well. And it's just definitely this thing that's been passed down in my veins. My dad loves classic rock, so I got a little bit of that in me as well. And I think every good country song kind of rocks, and every good rock song has that country songwriting in it.
Muddy the water to make it feel deep. Muddy the water so you don't leave. When you feel resistance start to dip, it's just a season and you're planting seeds. And soon you learn how the lowness grew to flow effortlessly. I said I'm drowning. I said then stand. I said I'm out of here. And I said when.
Angela Meyer with Muddy Water. She plays at venues throughout the area and hosts her own radio program, Muddy Waters Radio, on Saturday afternoons at WQUD Vintage Radio 107.7 in the cities. The Figge Art Museum is embracing Hispanic culture as we enter October. It has a free family fiesta coming up on the 13th to honor the memories of the people we lost. And we talked with Heather Aronson from the Figge to learn a little bit more. Sunday, October 13th. And you know I can't speak Spanish, so
That's
I'm just
okay.
going to say celebrating the Day of the Dead, and you would
Yes.
say,
Dia de los Muertos.
oh, you do that
Yeah.
well. You
Lots of practice.
know, when did we start doing this at the Figge? Is it
Oh
like
my
about
gosh. No, it's been like 18 years.
Oh my-
It's
okay.
been a really long time, and
I
we've
thought it was
got
like the last 5.
no amazing partners, and it's
Yes.
gotten bigger. And this year, so we do an exhibition every other year. So this year's now the exhibition year. But we have this beautiful collection of Katrinas that we've made with the public and with these other partnerships, and bringing artists up from Guanajuato, Mexico to teach us how to make these. So they come out every year. So we have about 20 of them that are these huge, larger-than-life papier-mâché skeleton dolls that come out every year. So they'll be in the galleries, and our partners will be there, and we'll have lots of festivities happening.
There's a lot of people who say, now, this
Yeah.
is really odd, the celebration of death in a way, but it's kind of
beautiful,
cool.
though.
Tell me a little bit about the story, because it's
Yeah.
so culturally significant.
It is, and we have such a beautiful population in this area. But it's just, it is beautiful because it doesn't matter who you are. You're a human, you're gonna experience death, you're gonna lose somebody that you love. And the Mexican culture has such a beautiful way of looking at it. And it's looking at, remembering. It's remembering and honoring your ancestors. So it's just finding a way back to them by telling stories about them and sharing special foods and remembering their lives and really celebrating their lives. And that is just so touching. It's touched my life completely. The losses that I've been through, but everybody has that. So I think it can reach every human on a different level.
Yeah, it's celebrating the passing of a person
Yeah,
rather than
absolutely.
necessarily mourning. And your partners are LULAC and Ola America?
Yep, so Davenport, LULAC, Council 10 has been partners with us for years. Ola America does a wonderful job. And they have supporters. They support Ballet Folklorico. And then we have the Ascension Azteca dancers coming in. So we have big dance troupes doing 2 different types of dancing. We have lots of homemade tamales come in.
Is
and
that
we get
kind of great too? Because a lot of people look at a museum of art and think it's paintings on a wall.
Oh, yeah.
And that must drive you crazy.
It does. We are, our mission statement is literally bringing art and people together, and we find lots of different ways to do that. We have a beautiful collection of Spanish viceregal art, so it's all about Mexican colonial art in the collection. We've created these Katrina dolls over the years. We've got lots of Hispanic artists that we celebrate within the museum. But it's finding those connections, and we love celebrating our cultural heritage. So,
Well, and one of the cultures that's really celebrated there, of course, is the Haitian
Oh, yeah,
collection,
yeah.
which is very unique for the Figge and is world class.
I know, and weird to think about it in Iowa, right?
Exactly. Well, it's
know.
all in the eye of the collector who donates.
Yes. Yeah, we have a pretty spectacular collection
I
there.
do like that. Tricks and
Yeah.
treats. Let's
Tricks
talk
and
about
treats.
that.
Oh my gosh.
That's during the downtown parade, right?
It is. So 2 weeks later on a Sunday, and very different events, big parties, different
Yeah.
events. So Tricks and Treats is all about having fun at Halloween. We celebrate with our cultural partners. The Cultural Trust supports us, and all of our local partners, the Putnam, the Symphony, Common Chord, and everybody comes at the Botanical Center, come in. And so what we do, it's like 2 hours of trick-or-treating in the museum. So we have craft projects, and we have, of course, photo ops and fun things and lots of snacks and things like that. But as we encourage people to come in the museum. Now, we can't have treats upstairs in the museum, so we do the tricks upstairs. So all of our cultural partners have different elements. So you may be learning about plants from the Botanical Center. You're going to be learning about art from the Figge. You're going to be learning about music from Common Chord. You're going to get to touch some instruments from the Symphony. So you get to go to these little stations, and then you get a little prize to get your little tricks to come through the museum, and then you get your treats on your way out to
You got
go
this
see
figured
the
out,
museum.
don't
We
ya?
do. It's
I
a
like
really super fun event, and we encourage costumes for everybody. All ages welcome, and it's wild and it's a really good time.
I want to talk about two of the exhibits that you have right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
Last month, light sculptor Leo Villarreal.
Villarreal, good.
Very well
Yeah.
close. Anyhow, Interstellar. Tell me about that and what we can expect from him in the future.
So this is beautiful, and
I
it's
saw the pictures. It's so neat.
so it's kind of a really people think, okay, I'm going to go look at paintings on a wall. These are lights. Oh, I don't even know.
It's almost
They're like
light
glowing
and-
sculptures
yeah,
on the wall,
exactly,
and they
yeah.
change. So you have to go experience them. It's definitely an experience when you go in the galleries. So the cool thing is we have these on display. Leo's doing a huge project that was part of our City of Davenport and part of Destination Iowa. And so we're going to light the building next year. So next year's our 100th anniversary as
the Figge.
as the
Or the
museum,
Davenport
as our
Art-
entity.
That's right, Davenport Museum of Art's
And then
where it started.
20 years next year as the Figge Art Museum down in
And the building,
Davenport and the
basically, yeah.
building, yeah. So we're having a big, big year, and we are lighting the building. So the building is going to be like lit every night. It's going to be amazing. And Leo
differently
Villarreal,
lit, right?
Leo Villarreal is this, yeah. If you go to our website,
Yeah, I
you can
did,
actually
yeah.
see it on the front.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And it's going to actually be programmed, and it's going to have the lights will shift and glow. It's kind of like having the northern lights on the building.
It's
I like to
well,
think
it's
of
going to be
it.
a traffic stopper. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to want to sit and watch that.
I'm going to want to be on a boat watching it.
Oh, yeah, that's
right?
a great idea,
Yeah,
as a matter
it's
of
going to
fact.
be a beautiful view, I think.
Other cool exhibit that not that you don't have a bunch,
Yeah.
but the Walter Wick exhibit is
Oh,
running
super
until
fun.
November 17th.
It
So if you
is.
haven't seen it,
Come down. And we have a lot of, so if you haven't seen it, we do have a lot of free opportunities. Every Thursday after 5, we're open till 8, it's free. We have second Saturday next weekend, we have free admission. Sunday, we have Day of the Dead, it's free admission. 2 Sundays later, we have Tricks and Treats, it's free admission all day. So come down and see it. But this is Walter Wick, so he does all the I Spy books. And he's really this amazing photographer, and he does these images that really fool the eye and make you really, really look. And these images, I mean, they're this big. They're huge photos on the walls, and there's a lot of them. It takes up 2 galleries. So when you go in, you really get to spend time kind of doing a where is it on the images, but then kind of then you get sucked into figuring out how did he do these? Like, how did he make these? Because these are actual photos. These are not don't have a lot of manipulation. He uses mirrors. He uses pieces of paper to make a shadow that you think that's a shadow on the wall. It's actually a piece of paper that he placed there. So at the end, there's a little interactive where you can push buttons and watch the videos of how he actually made them, which is super fun too.
that
So
would be, the
it's
backstory.
a
there.
really good time, and it's great for all ages.
And it really is another example of if you haven't been to the Figge lately,
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
it's always changing too.
Always. And we have our beautiful Lewis collection that's out on display. And so the art is changing, and we have art from Crystal Bridges Museum of Art too. So we've got some amazing things out. Yeah.
Besides the big light show that we're expecting in 2025, what else can we expect in the coming year?
We have some
It's
really
only a half-hour program I've
we
got.
have so many fun exhibitions. So we have exhibitions that we are curating ourselves that will be traveling the country. We have exhibitions that are coming in from other institutions. We even have an exhibition featuring fashion and tennis shoes. Like, it goes from like classic artworks to sculptures to light shows to fashion and tennis shoes. I mean, it's going to be a really stellar year. We're very excited.
And you won't mind coming back and telling us
No,
more about it?
oh my gosh, anytime, anytime.
That was Heather Aronson from the Figge Art Museum in downtown Davenport. And to learn more, just go to figgeartmuseum.org. On the air, on the radio, on the web, on your mobile device, and streaming on your computer. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
The future. That's where our minds are at Western Illinois University Quad Cities. We are innovators, searching for something new outside of the textbooks. Dog-loving, leadership-driven, world-changing. Whether you choose to study on campus or online, your future is designed on your terms. Start your future at wiu.edu/QC.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 35 years.